Kinakabahan talaga ako.
Why?
Oh, by the way, Tita Mel, we want to give you a gift. Nice pass. Ayan.
My favorite off-grid stuff, and I mean, I'm not just saying that because he's here. Actually, one of the questions I hate being asked is, what do you do for a living? Alright, make sure to lock the door.
Ay!
Let's save it for the pod, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Cut muna, cut!
What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of the OG Podcast where we talk progress, not perfection, and the moves that change your life. Okay ba yung intro?
Wow!
Papasa?
Ano ba nagsulat niyan or si Chatty?
Chatty, syempre. Pero may konting taste naman, di ba? May prompting na, make it sound like me. Parang gano'n.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, my guest for today is someone that I really look up to. She's been working in the media industry for 2 decades now, and I just found that out. I thought you were actually doing this for about 10, maybe 15 years.
No, well, I don't want to date myself. But yeah, it's been
a minute.
Long time.
It's been a minute. She's been in that industry, and she's also an entrepreneur. And something that I think that we have in common is that we have so much on our plates that we feel like it's almost a storm on a daily basis, and we're just juggling tasks along the way. And today, we're going to try to unfold all of those, what kind of process that does. And we're also going to figure out 3 main things, which are the following, no? Chatty, let me check you up. All right. So basically,
you're used to it, di mo na babasahin yan.
Talaga? Yun yung sabi ko eh. Oh, by the way, Tita Mel, we want to give you a gift. Nice pass. Ayan.
My favorite OG stuff and off-grid stuff. And I mean, I'm not just saying that because he's here, but I do love it.
And it's not like we put her on the spot and just give her a shirt on cam, diba?
Thank you, off-grid.
Welcome.
Please continue supporting my wannabe pro sports career.
Wow, wannabe pro sports, winningest Manila Spirits player as well, guys. So yan, without further ado, please welcome Tita Mel. Woo!
Hey, don't call me Tita Mel. But anyway,
sorry.
Actually, one of the questions I hate being asked is, what do you do for a living? Because for me, there's how do I answer that? Because I do this on one day, another day I do this. Parang ganun, na parang gang. I'm not a straight path. I've always been like divergent pathways that lead to one destination.
So what can you say kapag sinasabi ng mga tao na, you know, you're a jack of all trades, you're master of none?
Yeah.
Is that something that you agree on? Is that something that you feel like encapsulates who you are?
I'm a Gemini through and through. So Geminis are air signs. I don't know if you guys believe in that.
Aquarius.
Oh, air sign.
Air sign, yep.
That's why we get along. You can't be boxed into one thing.
Right.
Our minds are so busy 24/7. When you're asleep, ang dami ka pa rin iniisip. And I think because we think in non-linear ways, or because we think in such huge galaxies, diba? It's not just one planet. We have to think of the whole universe.
Right.
That's what I tell people. Now, I can't just do one job, or else I will feel bored. I will feel stagnant. I have to keep like churning. What can I do next? What can I, it has to always be like, what's the next thing, or what can I do that will be different from what I've done before, or what I'm currently doing right now.
Okay, so it's
all complements.
Constant reinvention, basically.
I think constant reinvention and constantly figuring out what's gonna be uso in the next 5 years, and how can I jump in there? How can I put my toe in there? Or how can I work with this person?
So trends are very important.
Trends are very important to me, but also curiosity is very important to me, because if I'm not curious about one industry, I'm not gonna go in there.
Okay.
I'm not curious about one person, I'm not gonna want to like get into business or want to network with that person also.
Are you more of thinking what could you do next, in the sense now, what's gonna be famous or what's gonna be the trend, or is it more of why is it gonna be the trend?
Why?
So medyo may psychoanalysis na rin na nangyayari. Okay, so through the years and through your experiences of watching trends, what do you think can you explain as like the common denominator upon all of these trends?
I don't know if it's a common denominator, but because everything shifts naman talaga. Like for example, like with media, there was radio, and then after radio came TV, newspapers, radio, TV, and then it became streaming, and then it became online, and then podcasting. And then if you think about it, it's all gonna go back to radio anyway and newspapers because print is uso again.
Right.
Podcasting is basically radio except you stream
The
it.
vintage vibes is coming back,
Not
basically.
vintage vibes, but it'll all go back to basics. It's just packaged a different way. So I don't think I look at trends into as parang anong uso or what's gonna be the future. I think it's just repackaging certain products.
It's the same format, basically.
Concepts.
Yep.
It's just repurposing, repackaging for the next generation. Especially because I have a 12-year-old and I see what she's getting into now and I'm like, oh my god, so that's gonna be uso in the next 5 years, or it's just like the 90s coming back. So fascinating.
Where do you think we're headed?
We're gonna cycle back.
So back to newspaper, back to print, basically.
It's
Okay.
gonna be analog times.
Ooh. Remind me to
With
get
a
my
digital
printer ready.
perspective. I
Okay.
feel.
Okay. That's interesting. All right. So, 3 things that I wanted to talk about was mainly how a lot of people consume content. And right now, it's getting shorter and shorter now. The form of content is getting shorter and shorter.
Attention span is only 5 seconds.
Attention span is crazy low right now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're living on the heels of Gen Z being set out to be the most informed and most intelligent, most knowledgeable generation out there.
Really?
I think it's mostly because of the access of the free information that they have. You know, it comes passively as well. But at the same time, what I wanted to ask basically, Tita Mel, was how a lot of people consume content, but not a lot sit on stories.
Yeah.
Like focusing on one topic and then expanding that for hours and hours, just fleshing out these stories. No? And that's where podcasts, I think, thrive in a sense. Now, we could be talking about just one thing, pero so many aspects of that thing. So deeper siya into driving into the content. So what do you think is the biggest differentiator when it comes to talking about the same story, but taking hours and hours fleshing one out versus just creating a hook, main content, and then ending na 5-second attention span hook? What do you think is a differentiator when you create from the creator standpoint?
From the podcasting standpoint.
Yes.
Okay. Pag pinapagalitan ka when you were a kid, ano sinasabi sa'yo? Di ka kasi nakikinig.
Okay.
Diba? Or versus like, why didn't you see me do it? Or why didn't you see me telling you? It's always, bakit di ka nakikinig? Why weren't you listening to me? So if you think about it, I feel like audio and whatever goes in your ear will really stick. And that is basically the principle of content creation in podcasting. You have to create something that will really hook you from the start in terms of ears and not just visuals. I feel like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, those are candy because it's a lot of fluff. There's graphics, there's sound effects, there's, good-looking people on screen. If you turn off the visuals and the video, you'll have nothing except the voice and the story that voice or the cuento that voice or voices are telling you. We call podcasting as a basically lean back kind of format because pag video ka, nakatutok kang ganyan.
Right.
When you're leaning back, you can do many things. You work out, you drive, you cook,
More relaxed.
you clean.
Yeah.
It's just in the background, but at the same time, it's penetrating your brain.
Parang more on subconscious yung atake ni podcast. Secondary.
Correct.
Right.
So the more substantial it is, the more it sticks. Kasi parang you'll hear certain words or keywords or phrases na parang, it'll make you stop and say, nga, no? Diba? Versus visuals na ganyan ka, and then you'll just get distracted and you'll forget about it. Maalala mo lang is, ang gwapo ni Brad Pitt there.
Right. Okay, so from a creator standpoint naman, how do you ensure that the people are, hindi naman hooked kasi I think hook is a term that you use for short format or for videos. Yeah. How do you keep the people engaged? How do you keep the people listening? How do you keep the people learning basically throughout the podcast?
It's a big word, and I think it's a big word for 2026, which is authenticity.
I've heard that a lot of times.
Yeah, it's been like, thrown out there so many times, but I think this year what people are gonna see is that the podcasts or the content creators that stick are the ones who have a very clear identity, a very clear voice, and they can really carry thoughts and intelligence and conversations without being forced. Because before people or companies would ask me like, is this influencer okay to be a podcaster? And I always say an influencer can't just be a podcaster. Iba yun eh. But a podcaster can be an influencer.
Right.
So it's just two different things for me.
What do you think it takes to be a podcaster?
Ako brains. Really brains, because it takes a lot of brains.
Is it like
This muscle to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
brains in the sense of like stored information or
Stored
being witty?
life experience,
Right.
intelligence, a sense of humor, and just how you relate to people and how people relate to you. Because there are some people who are so smart, pero wala namang amor. Diba?
Right.
Walang ganyan.
Right.
Puro ganyan lang. How can you engage your audience and the person you're talking to if you're just encased?
It's too rigid,
Yeah.
basically. Right.
And then there are some people like hosts who are great live, but because they're reading off a script. But when you put them in front of like a camera or a recorder,
Pag ad-lib time na, di
oh
ba?
my gosh, they freeze.
Right. Right.
Wala. And but then there are some creators like, Bianca Gonzalez, she just has bullet points. And then, ang galing niya after that. Like, she'll just look at it, absorb it, and then tuloy-tuloy na siya.
Sige, try natin, Tita Mila. Joke lang. Sige, alright, so that's a great point. Making sure that you're smart enough, you're intelligent enough. But if, say, for example, I don't have the brains yet, I want to
How can
start.
you say you don't have the brains? You're living and breathing.
Example lang.
Brains doesn't mean na
Sabi mo requirement ng brains eh.
encyclopedia. Brains means na parang madali kang makagets ng something.
Okay.
Street smart.
You can wrap your head around complex
yeah.
ideas.
You can wrap your head around conversation and not space out.
Kamusta naman ako ngayon, Tita Mel?
Okay naman.
Okay. Guys, learning pa lang. Bigyan niyo ako ng chance. Okay, sige. So next topic that I wanted to talk about was, and I know you hate being asked the question, what do you do for a living? I think a better question to ask you would be, what are the things that you do? And let's briefly talk about them one by one, right?
Yeah.
Kasi yun nga, guys, background check lang. I was telling Tita Mel before na every time I'm launching a product or we're launching a service, the first question that always comes to mind is if Tita Mel would like it. She's like the ideal market, for me at least, that really sets apart what kind of audience we want to target or what kind of messaging we want to do for a particular brand or a product. So, yun, Tita Mel, how to be you, basically. What do you do? And let's talk about these experiences that you've had.
Okay, so first and foremost, I am a mom to a teenager. Number two, I also own a business, and we own a co-working space in Alabang. We own several locations na. Three, I'm a semi-retired frisbee player, but with the right people, I still come out and play if the group is fun. I am a wannabe pro tennis player, but I started too late. But I play every day, and then I have been a media practitioner for more than 20 years. I started in TV, trained under fantastic people who are all legends now. So I have a very good work ethic in terms of media. And then went to AVPs, sometimes movies, and then now I work with brands and content creators and figure out how we can create more revenue for their own personal brands and their titles.
She is also 1/3 of the Enslate podcast, which is a very great podcast, guys. If you want to be informed with regards to movies,
I'm a nerd. I'm a pop culture nerd.
So,
that's what I mean about being smart. You just absorb things that you like.
Okay. So, yun, going back to my question, how to be you po. Yan. What are the flags that you look for in trends that would make you start thinking about your next moves? Kasi you always said, okay, what's the next step? How do I challenge myself? How do I start something new? How do you reinvent or how do you pivot when it comes to these things?
Oh my gosh, that's so hard. Parang, I feel like I look at it from different personas. Like, if you want to future cast, the only way you can do that is by looking at what the teenagers are getting into now, because they are the early adapters. That's why when you said Gen Z is the most going. No, have you seen Gen Alpha?
Ooh.
They are.
I have not.
They are. Oh my gosh, they're so smart.
Maybe the ones entering the workforce, si Gen Z. That's correction, guys. I think Gen Alpha is coming up. They're coming up.
Alpha is not affected by the pandemic. That's the big differentiator for me. Because Gen Z, they're hindered by, no offense, hindered by the isolation of the pandemic.
Right.
That's why you will see all these articles saying they don't drink, they don't socialize, they're isolated, they don't know how to network. The pandemic happened. But then you have Gen Alpha, who basically grew up with millennial parents, who love to go out and meet
Hang out,
friends
yeah.
and hang out, and they're getting used to this environment of, oh, I want to go to the mall.
Right.
One day I'm gonna go to a bar.
Experiential things.
Yeah, I'm so into it. Like last Saturday, my kid went to the mall. They watched a movie in a theater.
Oh,
Gen Z doesn't do that anymore.
That sounds very old school.
But Gen Alpha, they're so into this whole collective experience now. So,
Socialization is such a big thing.
yeah,
talaga.
so Gen Alpha, watch out. Alpha and Beta, I think, are on the way back. And we're gonna be a better civilization because of it. So there, it's just, in terms of future casting, you look at teenagers. But in terms of what I think is going to fly based on my personal style, I look for something timeless that you can wear everywhere, any decade. Men or women are going to stop you on the street and say, I love what you're wearing, or I love your taste. And also, if you have a very sharp sense of culture, not just because you travel, but you have a really good sense of music, of art, movies.
You've been exposed and you were open. Kasi there are two things about it na, speaking about travel no, and culture, sorry, like sa side quest tayo ng konti. I mean, there are two ways to look at traveling. Like you can come in there like, hindi ko sinasabing magtipid or gumastos, but you can come in there thinking na parang, okay, nandito na ako, okay na ako. And then you can just take a deeper dive into it and really see what the locals are doing and how they're approaching life and how it shapes your perspective. And I'd like to think I'm like that, but coming into like, yun nga, travel culture, and I noticed that you were out a lot of times. Until now naman, I think you still travel every now and then. How do you come into a culture? How do you break into that?
An open mind. You can't just go to a different country and say, ay, walang, pag sa Pilipinas yan, di mangyayari yan. Diba? You can't go to a place and compare it to home.
Correct.
You have to go to a place and absorb it versus reject it. Or go to a place just because you want to experience it and not necessarily post it on IG to see what the comments are gonna be.
Like, so it's basically doing it for yourself, experiencing it as your own, and then just taking it in as a whole. Talaga.
I like to think of it as you travel so that you can leave pieces of yourself in there.
Ooh, that's good.
And then when you go back, then you pick up that piece again, and then you think, oh, how do I see this place?
It makes you also appreciate the small things at home, diba? Like, biggest lesson ko siya, like, kunyari, lugar na walang kanin.
Ako, train. Lugar na walang train, Manila. Pero pag nasa Hong Kong ka or New York, you're just riding trains. Because I love it.
Correct.
I love it.
Correct.
I love commuting when I'm abroad.
Okay din naman mag-commute dito, Tita Mel. Na-try mo na ba mag-trend dito?
Na-try mo na ba galing Alabang?
Hindi pa.
It's hard. So much as I want to, you can't.
Okay,
But
that's
I hope
fair.
that answered your question. That's a hard question though. Like,
Which one? Like
what
trends?
I think business naman is you just have to keep reading about what's next in business, especially in real estate and retail. What's up, what's down? Is it a good market, bad market, time to sell?
Like recent events, all of these things. Speaking of recent events, like current events, Jesus Christ, what is happening to the world right now? Like,
I tend not to comment on things that I am not an expert on.
And let's go back to the things that you are an expert on. You mentioned 2 sports. When I asked you what are the things that you do ultimate and tennis mainly right now, but I'm sure you do a lot of different sports.
Yes.
And you used to go to a lot of different places trying out different things. How does that tie into what you do at work? Was there ever a time na parang, oh, as a frisbee player, I got inspired by this. That's why I ended up doing this business. Kasi in my case, see, Off-Grid Lifestyle, I think I went on kay shout out, Direct Glenn Lopez. I went on to his podcast and he asked me how I started si Off-Grid. And it's mainly because we wanted to help our other teammates that needed extra financial help. So, para makapunta sa tournaments, ganyan. O, tulungan mo magtinda, ganyan. Tapos, whatever we make, hati tayo, ganyan. So, that's how I started the entire business. It wasn't because, oh, I want to be in the fashion industry or I want to be in the production industry. So, it was always rooted from sport. I was wondering if you've had an identical experience.
Of course, because my business partners are my frisbee teammates. all my 3 main business partners are from the teams I've played.
I did not know this. Sino yung mga partners mo sa frisbee?
Pia, which Derek mentioned is one of the best players.
Shout out Pia.
Pia is my business partner. There's Gisela also and Mark Serrano.
So kay Pia is like the launchpad.
Yeah.
Okay. So all four of you guys are partners in there.
Yeah, and we've never fought. We've never disagreed. We have a really great working dynamic. So if people tell you that you can't be friends with your business partners and vice versa, I think it's just a matter of the right timpla.
Ako, I completely disagree with the fact na parang don't work with your friends kasi
Ako na.
mag-aaway kayo.
No.
I only work with my friends kasi they haven't done anything to destroy my trust or not trust them.
Or it means that you're surrounded by good people.
I think it's a good litmus test then, no, of the amount of quality of people that you have around you. If you can work with them and then end up ending a contract or going separate ways, but then still ending up as friends on a personal level. I think that speaks a lot about the relationship and it puts you on a test.
Yeah.
So I'm working off-grid gym right now kasi I'm working it with my high school best friend, si Derek Monasterio. And so far it's been a blessing. Like it's super good that a bro has your back and he also looks out for you just beyond the numbers and just beyond what happens in the business. And I'm sure you feel that the same way with sila Pia, sila Sir Mark, ganyan.
Does Derek compliment you or fill in the gaps?
I think he fills in the gap. I do more of the nitty-gritty day-to-day stuff. Si Derek naman yung parang, okay, kailangan mo commercial, kailangan mo ng muka, kailangan mo ng artista, pupunta ako dyan, I'll be a professional. So, one thing about him is, I do most of the work on a daily basis, pero late ako lagi sa meeting. Derek, minsan na magpakita, pero all in siya. Like, so, I think that's how we complement each other. Yep. Shout out, Derek. Solid ka. So, okay. That being said, and how it ties up to sports, right now, as an individual naman, so we're talking about the relationships that we've created over time and how it matured into businesses, di ba? Which is, I think, the grand maturity of things eh. Na kapag you can talk about money and it's not awkward.
Oh, you talk about money. Like,
right?
I still can't do it.
It's so taboo, especially in the local. Yeah, sobrang dry niya pag-usapan. Pero if you can navigate a very tough conversation that deals with money, I feel like yun ang grand maturity ng isang relationship for me.
Yeah.
Even with family, no? Even with family. And that being said, on a personal level naman, was there ever any particular experience or maybe a learning or an emotion na pinangahawakan mo pa rin right now with everything that you do at work na galing sa sports? Maybe it's your discipline or it's your work ethic.
Something that I picked up from sports that applies
on an individual level.
I'm not afraid to lose. And I think that's the most important lesson anyone can learn from playing sports, that a loss is just part of the journey. It's not gonna make or break you, but you just have to learn from it, pick yourself up, and then move on, and then make sure it doesn't happen again.
How do you learn or how do you move on from losses? Kasi syempre, it's very emotional eh. Like, kapag natalo ka, especially a big game where everyone watches.
I hate it to this day.
My club team in Ultimate is famous for losing the finals. So, we've been through that a lot. So, how do you move on from it on a personal level? And how do you work on Mondays pag galing ka sa bad loss ng Sunday tournament?
You just have to think life moves on. It's not 100% your world. There's people to feed, there's people to pay. And then a loss is just a loss talaga.
Right.
But a win is also, of course, sweet, but then pag loss, wala ka namang masamang ginawa eh. It just happens that was how it played out that day. Diba? Kahit na you fumbled something and then in the shower, umiiyak-iyak ka na parang, why did I do that? And then the next day you're just like, you know what? I'm gonna forget about this.
I think a better question for you, Tita Mel, would be, how did you deal with the injury? Kasi ako, I've never been out of the sport. Like, never, thank God, never ako nagkaroon ng major injury that really took me out for a long time.
Yeah.
It was mostly me just hobbling in the field.
Yeah.
How do you move on from that? Like, just take away everything that you're doing right now.
So background is I've been operated on 3 times. So the first one was my shoulder, which I was out for a year because this was the hardest to recover from. And then 2 times knee. So all my L's have been affected already because of frisbee. I think by nature I'm just really optimistic. I'm really not depressive at all, and I'm not a negative thinker. So once this happened and these happened, I was just like, just work on it and then make sure na I'm confident enough na hindi ako natatakot ma-injure ulit.
Right.
Because that's the biggest blocker, diba? When you're injured, you're takot na takot ka to put pressure on your knee or weight or put force. Kasi baka ma-re-injure ka, but you just have to take that away from your psyche and just think of, I did well, I recovered well, I did my PT properly, I feel great, I'm gonna play well. There.
And linking injuries into life, guys, no? Sometimes you get injured, di ba? In businesses, minsan napipilayan or nahihirapan or naiipit ang negosyo.
I lost so much money on business.
Right. So, I was gonna tie it up na parang injuries happen in sports, injuries happen in businesses as well. Ano tingin mo yung biggest factors for you to focus on the moment you feel that it happens na, oh, na-injure yung business ko ngayon? Or when do you say that it's time to hard stop? Or when do you say that it's time to, okay, ilaban natin to, try natin i-navigate through this
Before
problem?
you do a hard stop, you already have to do the, ilalaban ba natin to or hindi? Kasi pag hard stop, that means bankrupt ka na.
Right.
There's no turn, nawala na, there's no solution. But when you're at the midpoint and you look at your spreadsheet and your profit and loss, and if you're in the red for how many months, I think that's when you decide that it's time to call it quits before we bleed more money out, or kaya pa ba nating ma-save para lang ma-ROI in 2 years, or...
So, kailan mo siya nilalagyan ng ganon?
We always, when you enter a business or a partnership, you always think of like, what is the 30% play? 30% meaning, if we only operate with a 30% profit, or hindi mo na siya nakuha, then hindi mo mababawi, can we still be alive? Or will we bleed out? If there's still we'll still be alive, kaya pa siyang i-rescue. Pag bleed out, done.
Talagang let go na.
Yeah, and at the very start, when you do your business plan, dapat isipin mo na yung, ano yung exit strategy natin. When do we call it quits? And then when you hit that line, whether it's 6 months or a year or 3 years, call it quits.
You said two very interesting terms just now. You mentioned business plan and you mentioned exit plan. Do you want to expound? Can you expound on how a business plan should look for new
There's
founders?
no correct playbook to write a business.
That's good, guys. Take note. There's no correct way to write a business plan.
None talaga. So we've written so many business plans, and it's not, one is never the same.
Right.
Siguro similarities lang is what's your concept, what's your revenue stream, how are you gonna make money, what's your selling point, ganyan, but like everything else is blah blah blah.
Right. Okay, so starting isn't structured. Pero is exiting structured, or is it something na parang...
I think exiting everyone has to be on the same page. Now, pag na-reach natin to, pag nakita natin to sa books natin, out tayo ha. All of you have to agree on that. Kasi kung may isang taong not in agreement, you guys are just gonna fight.
And so you're gonna be in a deadlock, and it's gonna be messy. So guys, we were just talking about business plans and exit plans. Sabi ni Tita Mel, there is no correct way of doing a business plan as long as you guys, kung ilan man kayo sa partnerships ninyo or kung ilan man kayo dun sa corporation na tinatayo nyo or business, you guys are in agreement. And as long as you guys see the end before you guys begin. Tama ba?
You have a plan for the end and when that end is gonna be.
Right.
Because I think a lot of businesses still go into business without thinking of an exit. So you see a lot of shops closing. Tapos if you talk to the owners, sabihin nila, ay, we lost so much money, nag-away-away kami, blah, blah. And in my head, when I hear those stories, I really think, I feel like you guys didn't look into your numbers correctly. Someone didn't say something, someone didn't alert anyone.
Right.
Until it just, there's no more life to resuscitate.
Okay. So the plan is there. Now it's the people. How do you choose the people that you've worked with?
You need to have a good vibe check. If you have a good intuition din naman about people, then you'll really
Right. Kung mapagkakatiwalaan, they know what they're doing. Right.
And I feel like that's what sports teaches you, diba? Because you've farmed teams. I love farming teams. You've captained, I've captained.
Right.
You know everyone's templa on the team. Not everyone is the same weight, right?
Yep.
You have the superstars, you have the role players, and then you have the bench warmers.
Right.
And you have to kind of manage all these egos and figure out how does each one get motivated. And how, if this person doesn't get into the point, magagalit ba to? Yung parang ganon. So kung marunong kang mag-captain, marunong kang mag-templa. And see the personalities also.
I think I could agree to that as well kasi going into that, last year was the first full season talaga na parang I was manning the helm kasi Tucker was coaching the women's.
Yeah.
Tapos si Jello was recovering and was focusing on the national team. So, shout out Jello, solid ka dun last year. Na-push natin yung Japan, bro. Despite all odds. Pero yun, relating it back to business, no, it's so much harder when you're running, for me,
Yeah.
Kasi a sports team, everyone is having fun. At the end of the day, everyone is hanging out with their friends,
Yeah.
they're having fun. In business though, like some people don't even want to be in that place.
Yeah.
And you still have to navigate through that and you still have to motivate these people and get them to do whatever it is that they do, even though it's a hard fact that you're the one paying their salaries.
Yeah.
Diba? And that's why I asked na parang, how important are the people and the personalities that make the team? So, short story lang, sa off-grid kasi, si Meg, which is your friend, a common friend, she came into the business about 6, maybe 7 months ago. And she was able to point out so many things that Derek and I were doing so wrong.
Okay.
And it was such a hard transition for us kasi it was the comfortable versus what ought to be. And initially, Derek and I were thinking, shit, hindi kaya bad decision that we let someone else enter the business? Hindi ba masyado natin pinagkakatiwalaan yung isang tao na to? Ano ba talaga alam niya? And then eventually, count 6, 7 months after that, we're slowly seeing the progress. We're slowly seeing the plant grow from what she planted talaga. And, you know, it's been nothing but positive things coming from her end. And we're so appreciative of that. And doon ko napatunayan na parang really having people that have a genuine care for what you do is always farther than what they know initially. Kasi si Meg, she started as a client. She didn't know anything about running a gym. Pero she really put her nose into it. She studied it. She treated it like an actual business, which it is. And right now, I would say she knows more about running my business than I do.
So her strength is operations. And sometimes you do need a bad cop to tell you that you're not running things
The right way.
or the most efficient way. And I feel like in a lot of successful partnerships, it's like that. And you have the mouth, networker, marketer, magaling, sales. Then you have the numbers person, na magaling mag-crunch, magaling mag-accounting. But you also need the person running the show.
Right.
And that's operations. I'm not good at that. I'm not good at numbers. But each of us plays a role. So Marcus, our operations, PS our sales, Gisella's are numbers, and I'm comms and relationships.
So super good, like yung... Were you always thinking that way when you started the company? Or
That's how it
you
just
fell into your
Because
roles?
we knew each other na.
Right.
Ito yung strength mo eh. Ito kaya, yeah. Parang it was just always understood that.
Okay. Was there ever a time in business that you felt like you were in the wrong role?
I
Or at work, even at work?
no, because I would never put myself in a position where I'm
Kumbaga, you know yourself so much that...
so self-aware that
Right.
I don't experiment that way.
Okay. Ano yung parang pinaka-uncomfortable situation for you though? Na-challenge ka, maybe in a good way. Like, not the norm, not normally what you do, not your strengths, pero F it, I'll try it.
Oh, so there was a time when I didn't want to do GMA anymore. I had just given birth. I wanted to work at home.
Right.
I fell upon software development.
Oh yeah! Are you still in software?
I'm still in touch with my boss, and he's like, "You're one of the best product managers I've ever had." And
Were you coding then? Or
I was doing basic coding.
Right.
So, but I was more of like a manager and more of client facing also, and figuring out how to dictate to our tech team what the client wanted and how to prioritize things. Product and project management.
Yes.
So yeah, that was a challenge because it's a different field. It's software, it's tech, and I had European teammates that I had to supervise, and I had an international workforce.
That must have been fun. Was this before the pandemic?
Yeah, so that was like 2016 to 2020.
Tagal din.
Yeah.
How was that experience? Were you doing anything else aside from that? Or yun yung full-time job mo?
Time.
Oh God.
Work from home.
But that was the time that we talked about Launchpad, I think.
Oh
Tama
yeah,
ba?
so I had Launchpad, but I didn't.
But it was like a passion project, or did you start it like parang
Because now we're 4, it wasn't so
heavy? Right.
So because you could pass everything on to. Plus we had a team already to run the
Galing.
show.
Galing. Whew. Any advice?
And I like challenges, so it was so easy for me to like, this sounds fun, so I'll do it.
Any advice to people that want to start their own businesses?
It's not easy. I know you romanticize being an entrepreneur in movies and in shows.
Hawak daw natin oras natin. Iniwala ka ba doon?
Hawak mo ang oras mo, pero oras mo 24/7 gising ka. 'Di ba? Like,
Iba yung headspace and bandwidth na kinakain.
Yeah.
Hindi ka 8 hours tas turn off, do whatever you want.
That's why I tell people, you're in and out 9 to 5. Pag 5 p.m., ayaw mo na mag-isip. And no one's gonna text you or call you unless it's an emergency. When you own a business, weekends, sir, hindi pumasok si ngayon, or we left the office unlocked. Parang, then we have to drive to the office or whatever. Parang, it's like never ending.
That's how I started with coaching. I mean, it's ideal being the owner, right? But sometimes owners and operators have to step up into their roles and find somewhere that they could help in, even if it's in technically the front lines.
And also, I feel like if you want to start your own business, you need a day job. It can't be your main source of income, especially if you have a family.
Okay.
Kailangan yung business mo yung backup.
Right.
Pero yung main lifeline mo is a real job. Until your business really makes money.
So what would you give an advice to someone who's very sure, like a very young kid, 21, 22, fresh graduate,
Magtrabaho ka.
may $1 million idea and very sure siya na it will play off? What advice would you give that person?
If you can't pay yourself, you can't make it your main job.
Mm.
You have to work.
Makes
And
sense.
also, you have to work for a different person so that you know what you like and what you don't like.
Gets. When was the time that you told yourself, okay, I'm making the leap of faith?
For what?
Like I'll do full-time business na. Like what you do right now. Like you're not employed right now, are you?
No.
Right. So when do you take that job? So basically wala ka na stable income. If you think about it, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if you can publish this because syempre I have my family. Yeah.
No, that's something that I wanted to touch on as well kasi we're on the same boat. You get what I'm saying na alam mo na if ever shit hits the fan,
I'll have something.
someone will catch you.
Yeah.
And that kind of puts us in perspective. Kasi nag-usap kami ni Jana about this the other day. Na parang how ang exact term nga niya is nepo baby daw ako. Ganyan. Na parang sinasabi ko, it's not really my fault. And it's not because I was defensive. No. Sabi ko, it's not my fault that, my parents were able to build something for us. And it puts me in a particular position
where you're braver.
and to help other people along the way.
Yeah.
Na parang my parents never had the privilege to think about other people kasi they were building a life of their own. And now that they're up there, they're more generous, they're more helpful.
Yeah.
But that's what I grew up into. Diba? So parang it puts you in a particular position where your decisions are a little bit more solid. Medyo once you think about something, I guess we relate to this in a way na once we think about something and we really, really like it, even though we slept on it, nothing will stop us from getting that.
Yes.
So in a way,
Kulo.
yes, like in a way, it helps as well na you have supportive people behind your back, not really rich people, but people that have a genuine care for you, na it extends beyond kung ano man yung naipon or kung ano man yung pera, di ba? And this is coming to my next and last point na rin about family, na how important it is to have people inside the household supporting you from behind or supporting you from all sides. You know, that quiet space na no judgment. Like for example kami, every Sunday, we have this mass and then we have a lunch. Whatever it is kung ano yung mapag-usapan sa loob ng pamilya, good or bad, you just feel like a gigantic weight is off your shoulders. Right?
I think having a child definitely helps you focus. Parang before you were I just want to go to every tournament I want to go to. Or I just want to spend all my money on these clothes and on traveling and on music. But when you have a kid, you're just like, I can't do that anymore. I have to make sure that she's going to go to high school and college and I can afford Ateneo, I can afford ganyan. It also, di ba pag air sign ka, kalat ka. Or everyone says
Sabay-sabay.
or everyone says na, oh, you're so flighty, you're so hard to pin down, you're gone with the wind.
Right.
Kasi kaya nga air sign ka, di ba? But then when you have a child, that air becomes a balloon and the string is tethered to your child. Because she is the only one who has access to you.
Ang galing naman ng analogy mo na yun. Did
But
you
it's
just think
true.
of that?
Yeah.
Ang galing naman ni Tita Mel. Grabe naman yung wit na yun.
It's true though, right? Na parang you're air and then the only person who can capture this air is
Your child.
your child.
So would you say right now, and this is an obvious question, pero would you say na at this point in your life, your decision-making factors all revolve around your child?
Yes. Where if she's gonna be happy with, and if your kid searches you online, are you gonna be proud of that person that your kid discovers online?
Right.
So that definitely makes a big impact on my decision making now. Like, mahiya ba siya if she can see her mom online and what headlines or kung ano man lang mag-google niya.
Okay.
Before kasi wala akong pake kung if my parents heard this and that from other people, but now I think about what is she gonna Google 10 years from now that I'm gonna be proud of or not proud of.
Ang ganda. Ang ganda, ang ganda. Grabe yun, ha?
Internet never dies.
Automatic ba? Like, nung paglabas ni Mira, ganun na agad na isip mo?
As in,
Like,
the moment I saw the 2 lines on my pregnancy test, I threw out all my cigarettes and never stopped.
parenthood changes you.
Yeah.
Parenthood changes you. Okay. How was that able to relate into your professional sports life? Ibang klaseng player ka na ba ngayon dahil may anak ka na? Ibang klaseng
I'm a
boss
lot
ka na ba
chill.
ngayon?
I think age also helps you dull the edges. Kasi before talagang...
Sungit ka ba dati?
Yeah! Sungit, I think sungit... I hate it when people say you're so sungit. Because for me, I'm really nice. And I'm actually quite warm. I just like to show that warmth to people I'm comfortable with. But that I know na makaka-vibes tayo.
Right.
I'm not a Labrador Retriever na lahat na lang...
You're gonna say hi to everyone.
Yeah. I'm more of like, a poodle or a corgi na very reserved and
Nice
very
and warm,
poised.
yeah.
But then if I'm comfortable with you, then you'll see the whole gamut of sunshine.
Do you prefer bigger crowds or do you prefer more intimate events?
I don't care. I'm super extrovert. So.
Wow. Okay. Sana all. How to be like Tita Mel.
Because
yun,
networking is a big part of your business. If you're an entrepreneur.
correct.
And also if you work in media, you can't be shy. You can't be like, hi po, or you can't be like enclosed. You have to be proud of who you are and your body language, and you have to learn how to work the room and make sure every person in that room who talks to you will remember you. And thank God, ganun pa rin siya.
So yeah. Is Mira into sports right now?
Yeah, frisbee. I can't make her play anything else.
She's falling in love with it?
She's fallen in love with it, and I can't even watch her games. Shout out to her coaches, Kenjun and Kiboy.
Kiboy. Yeah. Who just won SEA Games medals,
Yeah.
by the way. So I think she's in very good hands, very capable hands. Aside from Ultimate, is she getting into other sports,
No, she
other
doesn't
activities?
want to. Ayaw niya.
Puro Ultimate lang talaga gusto niya. Have you tried bringing her to tennis?
Before.
Hindi talaga. Okay. Eh ngayon, like, mas tennis ka na ba kaysa Ultimate?
Yeah.
Talaga?
You know why? It's easier to make yaya people to play. Kasi four lang, you just need 4. Pag frisbee, kailangan 20 players
Right.
para
Para lang
just to
mag-break
form a
even.
quorum.
Para lang mag-break even dun sa
But
field.
yun nga, if people make yaya na, like we're planning a FOT, or my team comeback. And,
Yo, our team. I'm part of
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's right.
Thoughts.
oh yeah. So, and then I'm playing with Derek in Baguio.
Derek's going.
Yeah, I called him kanina, like, D! Right with you, ah.
That's so funny. That's so funny. He's slowly getting back, and I think it's inspiring a lot of older generation players
I
to
hope
come
so.
back.
I
See,
hope so.
Arts is back in Vicious. So,
He messaged
he's showing
me
up.
because I said, Arts, you want to play for us, with us? And he said, I'm back with Vish. But if you guys aren't joining the tournament,
Wait, are you joining Isa's team
for Baguio.
for Baguio?
Yeah.
Oh, yun pala eh. Daddy, andun din dapat si Arts. I
No, wala siya sa lineup.
think so. Anyways, yun. Si Jana nandun. Take good care of her. I'm not gonna be
Yeah,
around.
she is there. Yeah. And siya. Anyway,
Sige, as an air sign, Tita Mel, what's next for Lozano?
I don't know. I can't even commit to a gathering next week because I'm just like, how can I commit?
Do you plan out your calendar weekly, daily? How do you plot out your
By
schedule?
the hour. No, joke lang.
Hey, in fairness though, like, this was way ahead. This podcast was scheduled 2 weeks ahead, guys.
More than.
After a cancellation on the first one.
No, it was a month ago ko, I think.
Yeah, we were speaking December pa lang.
Yan, kaya ko yan na parang okay, I'll put it in my mindset na si JP interviewing.
Do you have a planner or wala lang? Everything's up here. GCal. Okay.
Or else I'll forget it. With so many things in my head na...
So what makes the GCal and what doesn't make the GCal? What's a mental note and what's a GCal schedule?
Everything's on the GCal.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is very impressive.
Tennis, what time I pick this person up, what time I should leave the house to go to my...
That's very organized for an air sign, huh?
Yeah, I know.
Normally ako may task list lang, pero walang oras para ganyan.
Wala akong task list. Yun ang nakastore dito.
So by hours ka talaga? Like naka-slate per hour? Totoo ba?
No, I don't have... No, I mean, I don't have a task list per hour. But,
meron lang general idea na mangyayari sa araw mo?
Yeah.
Okay. So today, saan ka papunta?
I have so many things today.
Tinest.
So I have this, and then I have this, and then I have another meeting, and then I have to do a B&O thing, and then...
Isn't that their last episode?
Tonight.
Wow. Shout out B&O.
Yeah.
My God. Tagal na nun. Grabe. What?
Air sign. Ano pa ba? What makes an air sign? We're flighty. Those are the main... Oh, what are the misconceptions of air signs?
Misconception?
Because you're an air
Hindi
sign.
tayo nakikinig.
Correct.
Misconception is hindi tayo
We space
nakikinig.
out.
Like, we're on our phones, yes, but I hear every single word you're saying.
I know, right?
And I can continue the conversation.
I know, right?
Although, nahuli na rin ako ni Jana a couple times na parang, I'm very adamant to say na nakikinig ako, but then I just get the general thought.
Yeah.
It's not like the actual details. So, pag tinanong niya ako ng dates or time, patay tayo dyan. So, yun.
Do people complain about how flaky you are? Or
Yes.
you're hard to pin down?
Flaky and late. Yun, I think that's one thing. Lagi ako late.
Ako 15 minutes late.
I feel like I'm always on time. Like parang...
You also?
Yun. I come in thinking I'm on time.
I'm on time.
Sige. Okay. Last point, Tita Mel, before I let you go. You mentioned you being a mother. But now I want to talk about you being a daughter.
I'm the worst.
Okay. Siblings? How
I'm
many
the
are you in the
oldest
family?
daughter.
Oldest
Three.
daughter of 3. Okay.
Of 2 boys.
Okay.
With 2 boys.
I'm going through this right now. You know, I'm in the phase na recently nag-Taiwan kami ng parents ko for a countdown and I'm seeing them
Getting older.
talaga.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like ugod-ugod, pero
They're slower.
the long walks are now short walks.
Yeah.
And the trail hikes are now, I'll wait for you in the cafe. Meet me after the entire tour. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm feeling emotionally. I don't know how to unpack it. Pero, how do you go through that fact given your family is very, from what I see at least in social media, your family is very outgoing in general. And we kind of have like the same family dynamic in that sense. We love traveling together. We love spending time.
I love family trips.
Yun nga, like my favorite as well. Every time mag-aaya parents ko, game ako. Kahit anong date pa
Planner
yan.
ka ba ng family trip?
Hindi ako planner. Taga-sunod lang, tsaka taga-reklamo. Yan ang number 1 rule ko. Panganay and bunso. Yung
Correct.
gitna, pabigat lang yung gitna. Gitna ako eh. So, yan. Taga-tikim,
Eldest
taga-reklamo.
planner.
Yan. Wow! So, paano ka nagpa-plan bilang air sign? Open sked?
Hindi naman siya open sched, but I have a list of things that we should go to. And then, bahala na what day we're gonna do that.
Okay, so it's not really a matter of day 1, ito, 1, 2, 3,
Not
4.
rigid.
Day 2, 1, 2,
Parang
3,
I have to see, since our parents are older, I have to see kaya ba nila maglakad that day?
4. Right.
Is it too cold to walk
Right.
that day? So kind of less like, okay si Monday, papasok ko to.
Okay, those are the things that I have to improve on. Kasi I feel like for planning family trips, we still plan for ourselves as the kids.
Yeah.
Kasi nga, hindi
No,
pa
but-
namin ako-consider na
Pag
they're
may
getting
ganyan kasi,
older.
we have like alone time na that's what the kids, that's what we allot ourselves.
Right.
If we want to shop in Omotesando without, my parents won't enjoy that. So we all go there and do our own.
So, kanya-kanya. Like, may free time talaga. Okay.
Parang siyang cruise. Parang siyang planning a cruise. You have leisure time.
Right. That's it. Okay, that's the fun part about it. Pero yun nga, the sentimental part is like, you know, the parents are getting older, you're starting to realize this isn't gonna last forever. But at the same time, as an air sign nga, dami nating ginagawa currently and dami nating hawak. How do you balance all of this? But,
Honestly, I'm so bad. Because
Same.
sometimes I feel like family is the last. Family, not my kid. Because my kid will always be on top.
right.
But everyone else is parang kid, friends, sports, and then,
That's why I asked like about being a daughter. Kasi being a mother, wala ka naman choice eh.
Yeah.
Kumbaga, dependent sa iyo anak mo. So, you have to take care of the child.
my goal for this year is just to be a better daughter because I see my parents are not getting any younger and they're I don't know if you've heard, but a lot of people in frisbee have lost their parents also. So, makes you think na bilang na yung oras talaga.
Right. And it's something that I want to cherish pa rin.
Yes.
Pero at the same time, you know that all good stories have an ending to it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're never gonna be prepared, right?
No.
But coming into, yun nga, this new one, how do you plan to become a better daughter? Ganyan.
By speaking to my mother? No.
I did not know that. I did not know that. Let's pretend you didn't say that. How do you want to be a better daughter, or as someone that is a mother now?
I think
How does that change your perspective as a daughter?
before, if this is like a psychiatrist session, when I was younger, I was very self-aware, and I already knew when I was young that I wasn't being parented the way I felt I should have been parented. And then now that I'm a parent, I'm making sure that Mira is getting the parenting that is more suited to her versus yung umbrella na dahil anak ka, didisiplinahin kita. That was the old way of thinking. And I'm learning to let that go, that kind of resentment go with my parents now. Na parang, I wish you guys had done something and be more of like, I'm gonna let it go, and then we'll start from scratch and be better to each other.
Right. So more on progressive yung approach mo ngayon.
And just take the punches in na. Kasi they can't adjust na eh.
Are there any traditional parenting practices that
I hate.
you apply, actually? Zero talaga. None. What do you hate the most?
Being called the rebelde.
Na parang if you don't align into something, how do you handle that with Mira naman?
She's the perfect child. I've never punished her.
Oh my God.
Ever. Like, never grounded, never spanked, never shouted at her.
Was there ever a time that she was at the tipping point though?
We
Na-test na yung
would talk about
patience mo?
We talk about it.
Galing. Hopefully lahat may ganyang klaseng kakalmahan.
Kasi she's Taurus eh, and I know that that's not gonna work on her. And then, I love zodiac, so it kind of, if you read on the personality of the people that you deal with, and then you kind of make some flexibilities.
Right.
Adjusted.
So, kumbaga pre-adjusted na. Not only because she's your daughter and you know her the best, right? But also
I know she won't respond to certain things. And I feel like you have parents who are kind of boomers. Parang feeling ko, wala din silang ganun adjustment.
Correct.
So, modern parenting, I feel.
That's nice. That's nice. I think it deals a lot with the internet as well. And just being able to see the world on how the world does it.
Yeah.
Parenting. Kasi
Yeah.
parang before, wala naman choice sa parents natin kasi yun naman talaga yung nakikita
Correct.
nila around them.
Na papagalitan ka,
Yeah.
and you're not disciplined. Kasi I remember when I was
Baka
younger.
dahil wala cellphone, ganyan, wala magawa.
No, I remember they'll tell me na parang you can only go out once every 2 weeks and you have to be home by midnight. And in my head I'd be like, why? Why? I'm not gonna do anything bad. I just want to be with my friends. Parang for me, you just had to. I just like doing things on my own terms,
Right.
and not being told what to do.
Same na same, guys. Air science.
Air science.
Air science.
You can't ganon. You can't really ganon pag air.
Although, would you say four times, would you say na namimiss mo rin? Na pinagbabawalan ka and sinasabi na bawal, ganyan?
No,
Wala talaga.
I'll hate it.
Gets.
I've always hated it. In fact, parang kanina, a friend of mine was asking, like, cut na lang to, why don't you date this guy? And I'm like, because you can't control a Gemini, because he's so like that, rigid. But anyway, yeah, no, I hate being told what to do.
Right.
Because I'll always come to that conclusion anyway. Unless it's work. Because work is always a collaboration.
How do you draw the line though? How do you not take it personal? Like, kunyari, work. Pero,
Oh, I never take it personal if it's
pag work.
very
galing.
professional. But that comes from mentorship and the kind of work environment that you started with.
Right. Okay. All right. Before we end this, Tita Mel, if you have any final words or any plugs that you want to say to our audience, now would be the time.
I don't have any plugs. What do I plug? Myself?
Yeah, or any upcoming projects, anything you want to invite people on, anything you want them to be aware of.
Oh, just listen to the podcast that I work on, especially and Slate. It's about movies and TV and music, but I also work with a lot of creators. So, baka your favorite podcast is actually under me. So, never know.
All right. Awesome, guys. That is a wrap, guys. And this is the OG podcast. My name is JP. And again, this is Mel. Thank you very much for watching this episode where progress is talked about, not perfection, and the moves that change your life.
Very good. Wala kang idiot board.
Nice.
See, and you didn't